Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So yesterday at some point during my war path clears, basically I had quite a lot of time left over on my big boy boosts and cosmic boosts, and I decided to have a bit of fun with Thor Ragnarok because yesterday we had a really close and important war. It's uploaded on the channel, and I basically boosted to the max throughout it, and with the downtime during my lunch break, I figured I'll have some fun with OG Thor. This is a maxed out 5-star SIG 200 Thor, and we can see some very nice damage numbers being put out there for such an old school god. I have showcased some Thor gameplay before on my channel, but I really do think people still kind of like underestimate his worth and his value, because he might not have the most amount of utility, but he has access to one of the highest damage outputs in the game from the get-go, as in like he requires no ramp up. You don't need to drop 50 heavy attacks in the fight. Base idea is, you just parry the opponent twice and you're gonna hit super hard. And the best thing I found out with Thor is that if you push him level 3, you can deal about 200 damage with pretty much reliable guaranteed kind of like a stun loop, because special 3 is guaranteed to stun. And then obviously you have extremely high chance to stun on your level 1s or level 2s as well. But by that time opponents are typically dead. So you saw that Winter Soldier fight took like 54 hits, and I was definitely not saving my hit count. I was not kind of like just using heavy attacks. I was basically stunning and spamming that Winter Soldier. Now against Captain Marvel, nice 27k heavy attack crit, again another one. So those two heavy attacks, 2 hits by themselves dealt 50k damage. And another 27k heavy. That's so solid. At some point during the video showcase, I'm gonna swap out I think it was Captain America Infinity War for Magneto Marvel now. And we're also going to check out his pre-fight ability with Thor, because it does work with Thor. Even when Thor passively stuns the opponent, you do get armor break. And towards the end of the video, we're going to do a full clear of a 6.1 path and a Sabertooth solo using just Thor. Now that was a nice 45k level 1, some big yellow numbers, 30 something level 1 again, and the fight is over. So this fight took even less. This fight took like 48 hits, and it was quite quick, if I may say. And now we're going to jump in a random path in, I think it's 6.4, and we're going to go and do the Footloose path, because obviously pretty much due to the sheer amount of damage, obviously Thor also manages to play around many annoying abilities, including Footloose nodes or auto blocks, because heavy attacks can't be auto blocked, and the parry stun is typically long enough for you to land the heavy attack and go back into block absolutely safely. So you can see 4 hits in the fight. Medusa is already down at 69%, and that is quite savage. Think about how like stacked these opponents are, and Thor is just having a field day. There's absolutely no problem dealing with this Medusa. Even though she auto blocks, she evades, she goes unstoppable. All is good, all is well, so long as you manage to keep your armor breaks up, and that is to say you manage to parry plenty, drop some heavy attacks in the middle. That's not a must, it's just a very nice big yellow number when it crits. And you can see that Act 6 fight, it's 14 hits, you got to level 3, and it's done, and it's finished. That was well overkill as well. So I personally still absolutely love Thor. Obviously, I wish he was a bit more closer to his strength level pre 12.0, but that was ridiculous. We have to admit, 4-star doing like 100 hit mediums or something, that's just crazy bananas damage. But even as he is now, he's still, in my opinion, one of the hardest hitters in medium to short fights, just due to the fact that he has all of his damage right on palm of his hand from beginning of the fight. No need to get persistent charges, drop level attacks, or collect missions or anything like that. You can bring him in against any champion that can be armor broken, and job's a good one. You have all your damage for when you need it. Stark Enhanced Spider-Man goes down in 10 hits in Act 6. That's, to me at least, it is definitely quite impressive. Now we're going to move on to the next fight. Next fight is going to be MODOK. Obviously, we all know MODOK is an annoying defender. And the MODOK fight is also going to be a perfect example of my personal biggest flaw, biggest weakness that I have whilst using OG Thor and relying on his beautiful, beautiful damage. But first I need to get there. So here we can see that we're going with a parry heavy method at large. There was a nice 27k crit once again. And still, even if it doesn't crit, it still deals definitely a significant amount of damage. After a parry attack, a nice single medium with no crit, with no fury buff, 6k. Now heavy attack crits for 27k. Very solid, very good. Nice level 2, like 45k damage without any parts critting. Level 1 for 40 something damage. But here is the biggest flaw. I love to overextend, and sometimes it doesn't go well. So we could clearly see that MODOK was left on like 1 or 2%. Went into auto block and I ate level 3, and that was it for that run. And that is definitely much more testament on my impatience using Thor rather than Thor's ability to finish the fights. And now for a bit of flavor, before we do a full-on path clear, let's jump on 6.23, I believe it's Icarus. And Thor also has advantage on Icarus nodes, because he gains more armor penetration, I believe, for every fury buff that he has active. So he does not only gain the damage bonus that everybody gets from these fury buffs on Icarus node, he also gets additional damage bonus within his own abilities. So the end result obviously is quite beautiful, quite enjoyable. So the base idea is just to get close to level 1 and then go ham at the time when you get to level 1. We can see that they're a very nice, simple 82k crit. Obviously, Icarus is a node that helps a lot of champions excel, but Thor is definitely one of them, because obviously he enjoys parry heavy playstyle. Heavy attacks can hit like a truck, and you can stun opponents for days, and you can unleash some brutal amounts of damage. So now we're going to go up against Medusa, and in this fight obviously I have to be a bit more careful because auto block is a thing. I'm going to try play around it initially, and eventually I'm going to decide just to play into it, trigger those furies so I don't have to wait. And we can see nice 20k medium, 40k non-crit level 1, and another slap to finish it off. 12 hits. Solid. And yeah, now we're going to move on to 6.11. That's the Sabertooth quest. And Sabertooth is an annoying opponent. It's one of actually the kind of tougher bosses, in my opinion, in 6.1. Because every other boss, should you be playing, should you be having a decent counter, the fights are not too tricky. If you have a good counter for Crossbones, the fight itself is not hard. Having a good counter for Crossbones is questionable. Having a good counter for that Ultron with the EMP modification is questionable, but the fight isn't too bad. And Sabertooth is kind of like the opposite of that. Sabertooth you can do with plenty of the champions, but the fight, largely due to Oscillate, is quite tricky for most players. And anyways, so first fight obviously is Agent Venom. It's not the simplest, most straightforward fight. I still benefited from Magneto Marvel Now pre-fight ability, and that let me reliably parry stun him. Unfortunately, obviously, he still shrugged off my armor breaks, but at least the fight was like well in control for vast majority of the time. Now I did trigger no retreat once, but you know, happens. And now we're going to be going up against Red Skull. And I think I will be unable to gain power against Red Skull, or is that Punisher? But either way, let's just get there. So Red Skull obviously has a whole bunch of armor breaks at start that mitigate the damage quickly. But obviously Thor, with every parry, gets rid of them armor breaks. And as soon as we're going to make sure that he has no armor breaks left, there's going to be absolutely no protection left on that guy. and he's gonna absolutely melt down. So now he drops another level 1. We are 8 hits in. He's at 40% health already. Now 9 hits, 31%, and still no crits. If that heavy attack would have crit, I believe we probably would have finished. 12k non-crit, not bad for a medium hit. Sorry, that was 12k crit, 8k non-crit. Either way, moving on, Iron Patriot, the next victim in the line of God of Thunder. Still don't know why Thunder, but Thunder. So let's go. Start off with nice medium, light, medium there. And decent crit, so 6 hits in. He's halfway down. Level 1, he's at 20-something%. And just finish him off whilst in stun. So it's literally as simple of a fight as it is to get to level 1, and jabs are good. Now next up is Punisher 2099, another champion with the class advantage for Thor, so another 20% attack increase. If you think about it, 30% champion boost, 20% attack boost. Suicide Mastery is giving additional 60%. So he's really dosing on that attack. He has like double additional attack at this point. And we can see that again, 13 hits in, he's practically down. How to eat that level 2 in the block, but another hit will set the record straight. And now we only have 2 fights left till the Sabertooth boss. That's going to be the Nebula and Gambit. Now, Nebula is a bit trickier, obviously, because Nebula has that increased power gain, so I'm going to have to watch out not to push her to level 3. But other than that, still class advantage, still happy days, and still doing what Thor does. Double parry, some very decent chunky crits right here. And do need to bait out the special attack at some point soon, or do I drop a level 1? She drops a special attack, even though I would have probably went for a parry full combo. And that would have finished the job because I had the second armor break back then. So another level 2 await here, and yeah, a nice crit to finish it off. So Act 6 fights, 16 hits. What's not to love? And that was definitely not even the best kind of like crit RNG. Now let's go on over to Gambit. Now I believe Gambit has annoying aggression regeneration, so you do kind of have to be quite aggressive, but let's go. Let's start with a heavy attack with the first armor break, another heavy attack. That's like 13k non-crit right there through optimism and everything else. And yeah, let's just try and finish it off so we can wrap up the video as well at the Sabertooth fight. So that's a nice long stun duration. Do full combo after the stun into another level 1, and the jabs are good one. And now let's move on to Sabertooth. Now, full disclosure, I did have semi-accidental purposeful disconnect during the Sabertooth fight, where I again did exactly the same thing as I talked before in the Modok fight, where I simply overextended myself and then ended up eating a level 3 to the face. But let's pretend I didn't do that, and let's get into that fight. So I activated Magneto's pre-fight ability for, I don't know, a bit of extra damage, reasons unknown. But here I also noticed a slight bug with Magneto's pre-fight ability, and that is you get pushed back when you parry the medium hits, because I think the game thinks that parry doesn't trigger and you behave as if you do not have parry mastery active. And in my first attempt, my heavy attacks just whiffed because you get pushed back far enough for your heavies not to connect anymore. So that Magneto's pre-fight ability definitely is super useful and will be usable, but there are so many kinks with it and so many different interactions that need to be taken a look at. But look at that, 110k level 2 there. And yeah, at this point, obviously, I went in for 2 full combos into another level 1. He's pretty much down. Combo to finish it off, and that is it for today's video. I personally enjoyed that Sabertooth takedown. I hope you did as well, and if you did, do not forget to hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, share the video with your friends, show them what OG Thor can really do, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya!